Okay, I'm glad that I quickly realized that my phone ran out of space because I was coming to adjust the settings so you can see the best my camera can show you. I was saying that this game is high on life. It doesn't support native HDR, so I am using the Major Paint the Cactus add-on to reshade so I can adjust the tone mapping for it to look the best on my LG C1 and also on the S95C. So basically what I'm saying is that this game right now is perfectly in tune for the C1 and perfectly in tune for the S95C. Usually when we see comparisons, that's not possible if you are actually playing the game, because you either make the tone mapping perfect for one TV or for the other. You cannot get both. So this is my best try, basically, to accomplish that. So these are HDR pictures. Let's take a look at it. I'm gonna show you, and I already set it up. I know which picture is going to which TV. So I already set up all the comparisons. So let me tell you what I see, okay? You see the difference in the color saturation is absolutely huge. But for you, as a consumer who buys the TV, opens the game, for you to be able to see all the colors of this QD OLED all the time and fully enjoy the full capabilities of this TV, you have to learn, you have to change the settings on the TV, but more importantly, you have to learn how to change the content. Because most games, if they don't have like a saturation slider or something like that you can just crank up and just make everything look impressive, most games are not going to show you those, the brightest colors that we can actually see on this S95C. So for example, right now, this yellow color here, it looks significantly better on the S95C, no question about it. You can see it on the video. It is beautiful. I absolutely love these yellow colors that the S95C has. But let me tell you, this is not even close to what this S95C can do. And how do I know that? Because I've seen a test pattern that I'm going to show you at the end of this video. I mean, these yellow colors are ferocious. I'm talking about 1,000 nits of yellow. Okay, plus more than 1,000 nits. This is not 1,000 nits. Of course, we cannot get that brightness anyway because the overall brightness of the scene is probably too high for it to be able to show you those super bright colors. But still, when I show you the test pattern, which is basically just full-blown colors, you will see that even under those conditions, those yellow colors are like a lot better. So my point here is, when you see a side-by-side comparison on YouTube of someone showing you, it's not that doesn't mean anything. It does, absolutely. It does mean something. And you can clearly see some brightness differences. You can see something. But what I want to transmit to you is that the full capabilities of this S95C QD OLED are tremendous. And the LG C1 OLED, and for that matter, any WRGB OLED, is not going to come even close, okay? Even at the same brightness level, even if you measure the same nits, immediately when you turn on a QD OLED, the vibrancy and the brightness of those colors are going to hit you in the face, especially if you try some test patterns where you can clearly see that difference. But in games, for example, right now, look at this example. I'm gonna check the camera settings to make sure you can see this. But in this example, let me also turn off these lights because now we're going to near black, so I don't want I don't want the lights affecting that. Look at this. Make sure the settings are right. This is to Yep, check this out. They look very similar, even in person right now. Yes, the S95C is brighter, but the color saturation difference here is like almost none. Almost none. They look almost exactly the same in person. So, if you've been listening, everyone telling you, oh, QD OLED colors are amazing, especially this red colors is like not even close, and then you see this in person, or someone shows you a YouTube video and tells you, you see, it's not a big difference. Yes, there is a big difference, but this scene here on this game is not showing you that difference. So I just want to communicate that to you very clear. You can see examples like this where the shadow detail here is almost the same. The contrast, almost the same. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference at all, other than the brightness. Yes, I have more pop here. Yes, it is a little bit more saturated, especially here. I can see the difference. I'm not going to say I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but unless I have them side by side, I would not feel like I am missing out with this LG C1 in this example. So that's why I'm saying it is all a matter of what the content is calling for and the examples you're looking at. Let's take a look at another example here. See this one? This one. Now here, in this example, the difference is absolutely huge because of that full screen brightness power that we have with this S95C. It's a lot brighter full screen, and the colors are brighter too. You can totally see the difference. For example, here, this sun reflection on the LG C1 looks white, and here it has a more orange look. And this color here is a lot brighter. Also, this golden effect here is also significantly brighter than on the LG C1. But for example, if you look at the grass here, it looks very similar, other than the brightness. When you're actually playing this game and you are facing all this green grass on the S95C with that higher brightness, the difference is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge in this game. Let's take a look at this example. For example, this is Red Dead Redemption 2. Let me change the camera settings because this is a lot darker now. Now this example here looks terrible on camera. Absolutely terrible. You can see the difference of that QD OLED, that magenta push that you see on camera. And that's not the way it looks at all in person. So on the video, this example here tells you almost nothing. It just looks so much more different. But in person, what I can tell you right now is on the LG C1, I am losing a little bit of detail here on this highlight. I can see some faint details here that I'm missing. I am missing some stuff here on this highlight. It is clipping on the LG C1, so maybe I would have to reduce the mid-tones slider on the game. Maybe that would give me this detail back. But yeah, the LG C1 is clipping this detail. But every time we have clipping, that means most likely there is something that you have to adjust on the TV, on the game tone mapping. In this case, we have HGIG. So basically, if the source is right, we should be able to see all the detail here. So that is something that I see on the comparisons online that they tell you, oh look, this TV is clipping the detail here, it's not showing you that. And that is 100% the source, okay? If you adjust the source, and of course you cannot do that with movies, okay? But with games, we can 100% change the source, especially on the PC, with using reshade or in-game settings. If you change the source, it almost doesn't matter which tone mapping the TV is doing. Almost, it doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. You can always lower the brightness of the content, basically, so you can see that detail. So yeah, I would just probably have to lower that mid-tones slider on Red Dead Redemption. And that will give me that detail back, basically. Let's take a look at this. This is another example from Immortal Phoenix Rising. Big difference here. I can see more clear this reflection here. I mean, this reflection here from the sun looks so much better, colorful, defined. It is not even close. And these reds here from the flowers look more saturated on the S95C, but the difference is not that big. Now, why is that? Why is the difference on this red not as big when we know the QDOLED has a lot more powerful reds? Because the content is not calling for it, okay? If I use reshade and I increase the color saturation, the difference will be huge. But I'm not doing that because it's not that I care about accuracy that much, but I don't want to see super saturated colors all the time, because here's the thing, you get used to it. It doesn't matter how bright or colorful your TV is. It doesn't matter if it's 10,000 nits. It's going to wow you at the beginning, but you will get used to it. And now what's gonna happen is when you go back to another TV that is not as bright and as colorful, that's when you're going to see the difference. That's where you're going to be like, okay, well, yeah, I cannot go back. That's why people get a huge TV and then their next TV has to be that size or bigger because you get used to that. So in my case, I'm very happy with 55 inches because I'm coming from 48. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind. If you have a WRGB OLED, don't feel like you are missing out a lot. Because yes, QDOLED is better. If you have the cash, go for it, okay? It doesn't have to be an S95C. I would not recommend this TV just in case it start giving me problem with the One Connect box. And I have other issues that I'm going to talk about on a separate video. But get a S90C or get a Sony, whatever. Get a QDOLED or a QDOLED monitor. It can be if you want a smaller TV. Yeah, definitely. If you have the cash, it's a great technology. It has very strong points, but don't feel like you are missing out big time if you have a WRGB OLED, because it's not. It is a big difference, but you cannot suffer what you don't know. See, if you don't know how good an experience is like, you're not going to suffer it because you don't know. So yeah, it's a nice difference. If you have the cash, get it, but it's not like run and get it right now. It's not going to. It might not be worth your money, your hard-earned money. Now here in this example, they look almost identical. Why is that? Why we have some examples where they look almost identical in person? Let me tell you. Because HDR is an absolute. Actually, let me change the camera settings so you can. It's probably too dark. Okay, So HDR is an absolute. So what that means is with brighter displays, we are supposed to get brighter highlights, but not like everything's gonna be brighter. You can get that if you set the TV tone mapping to dynamic or dynamic tone mapping, or forgot how Samsung calls that. You can get that, okay, if the TV has more power, just give me that. With tone mapping, you can get that. But if you go for more accurate settings, HDR is supposed to look for near black, and the midtones, they're supposed to look identical. It's just more peak brightness. So basically, we have a gamma curve to follow that EOTF. And let's say you have, this TV is 800 nits, and this one is 1300 nits. They are supposed to be the same. This one is supposed to be the same as this one until 800 nits. So ideally, if I have the same picture, they should look exactly the same. Of course, they don't, because QDOLED has other qualities, but ideally, if they are perfectly accurate, they're supposed to be exactly the same. And with more brightness, you're just supposed to see brighter highlights, basically. So in this scene, they look almost identical, but yeah, I can definitely see these highlights here are brighter on the S95C. So now let's take a look at, this is an example during the night. So we can see the shadow details here. This game is crushing blacks, by the way. So I changed this with reshade, so it looks better. Let me change the camera here, the camera settings. Okay, so all this is clipping on the video, and actually in front of me this doesn't look that bright, but it's very difficult for the camera to capture everything. But we can see here on this example, they look very similar. In front of me, I cannot tell any difference whatsoever. In front of me, this looks exactly the same, even side by side. Like yes, if I start looking at this highlight and I go back and forth, yes, the S95C is brighter, but it's almost the same. And that's what you want to see. That's exactly what you want to see. That's why I changed the settings also on the S95C to match the C1. Now here on this example, we're going to see a big difference, okay? Because again, we have very bright colors. Now let me change the camera settings. Now here in this example, let me tell you, big difference in person. I don't think the camera here is doing it justice. This orange color right here in Goku is so big of a difference. It's not even close. This looks definitely more pallid, okay? It doesn't look bad. It might be even more accurate if you compare this with a real paper cartoon. But yes, this is definitely a lot more powerful. When we look at the red here on this lady, big difference. It's not close. In front of me, this is like so much more saturated. It is not even close. But it doesn't look bad at all on my C1. Would I pay all this money for that difference? Yeah, I would. Actually, I did. But it's not like, yeah, this is not, even worth comparing. See this color right here is probably my favorite color here on this S95C are these bright yellow colors. Everyone talks about the reds. Yes, I love the reds of QDOLED, but these yellow colors are ferocious. So beautiful, man. I absolutely love these yellow colors. Let's take a look at this example, which this scene right here, I don't like it at all. I don't like how this look at all. It's like wild. This really looks wild. So I wanted to have this scene to see if it was looking more natural or less wild on the QD because it has that power. So I thought, oh well, maybe my C1 looks wild because it cannot give me those colors. And I have to say that absolutely 100% this scene looks significantly better on the S95C because the whites, this white here and this sky blue here looks brighter. So it is taking away a little bit the nuclear blue impression of this super blue colors here. So it is basically pulling more the image to look like more natural. This looks more natural here. Oh, something got messed up. Yeah, something got, oh, I think I took like a screenshot or something. Okay, there you go. So this definitely looks more natural because of this brightness here of these colors. Significantly better. And of course this is a lot brighter than on my LG C1. Looks much, much better. Absolutely no question about it. Now let's take a look at this one, which I like a lot. This scene here, I absolutely love this color blue. And let me tell you, one of the most impressive things about this QD OLED is the uniformity of full screen colors. It is so good. It is so good because full screen colors are bright, colorful, and uniform. It is so good. I cannot even show you that on a video. I'm going to make a video with some test patterns with color banding that they are designed to show you the native gradation of the display to see if I can show you the difference, because definitely not only QD OLED gives you that higher screen uniformity, but it also, I think it also smooths out the gradients, and I can clearly see that when I am using RTX HDR or Auto HDR, because I am used to seeing more color banding with my LG C1 and I'm not seeing it here. It is smoothing out the gradients significantly. So it gives you a smoother feel. Yeah, this here on this scene, big difference, big time difference. And let's finish with this one, and then I'm going to show you the test pattern, and that's going to be like a bloodbath. The test pattern, this one with the colors, I mean, yeah, that's like, you know, drop the mic. End of the story. Absolutely love this super, you know, powerful colors here. That's why I wanted to leave it for the end. We see a lot. The difference here is so clear. These red colors here look very nice. Don't get me wrong. This looks red. It looks nice. But the vibrancy here on this red is wild. It is so much brighter. These yellow colors here, again, big difference on these yellow colors. Yes, it is like night and day for those colors. Now this one, they look similar, but of course these are brighter. These yellow colors, like his eyes and all this, it is so much nicer on the S95C. Let me make sure that the camera settings are showing that. Yeah, that's good. Big difference. You can see it here. The color of this entire thing, it is like night and day. Goku, huge difference. Absolutely love how powerful the colors are on this QD OLED. And now to end the video, this is going to be a dramatic difference. Now let me tell you that to get this test pattern working on both TVs is kind of a mess. Let me stop the video because this program for some reason is crashing, and then I have to use a different program so I can have it side by side. But you can see the colors here are ferocious. So once you see them side by side, you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me stop the video so I can get this set up. Now this is probably the biggest difference. You can see, of course, because this is a test pattern. So you see all the brightness of those QD-OLED colors. Let me tell you, in front of me, wow, this gives me like the impression that's a little bit monochrome. You see, it's like my eyes get so adjusted to these colors that when I go here, it's like, wow, it is so big. I cannot tell you how big the difference is. This test pattern gives me the impression of my phone. Basically, the screen of my Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is crazy bright. It is very, very, very colorful, very saturated. This almost looks like a cell phone screen. The screens we have on the cell phones today are very, very good. It's that good. It is so, so impressive. And the thing is, this is not even the full potential of this S95C. I am definitely gonna go to the service menu, get those 2000 nits peak brightness and 310 nits full screen. That's going to be wild. Absolutely huge. Like right now, this TV is like 1300 nits. So we're going from 1300 nits up to 2000. Huge difference. So yeah, imagine that. I mean, it's going to be, absolutely incredible. But I haven't done that yet because I wanted to make this comparison, and I also want to, get more familiar with the settings and the way it looks. Because after you get more brightness, then what's gonna happen is that the calibration is gonna be a little bit messed up, and it's going to look a little bit washed out. So I want to get familiar first with the way it looks like this, make it look as good as possible. Once I am like totally satisfied with it, then I will do the mod. So I can see the defects. I can see okay, now it looks kind of washed out, so I can try to fix it. Now the problem is we don't have the 20 points calibration working on the PC for some reason. It's not working, so there's not a lot I can do. If it looks messed up, there's not a lot I can do with the TV settings. I might have to fix it with reshade and with in-game settings, and that's not the same. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, man, if you have an LG CX C1 and you want a more impactful HDR, get a QD-OLED. It is definitely worth it. But don't feel like, oh, my WRGB OLED sucks. Not at all. I actually like a lot more the way the screen looks on my LG C1. We have fantastic motion clarity with OLED Motion Pro, this feature that I praise so much. I mean, if this S95C had that feature, it would be a wrap. Almost a wrap. But we also have other issues with the S95C with the One Connect box. We have this resolution, this 4096 by 2160 resolution that we have to eliminate so we can use NVIDIA image scaling and DLSR. And we also have to eliminate that resolution so you don't get stretching in some games. This is messed up. If I cannot delete that resolution, it's almost a deal breaker to me. I'll see what I can do on the service menu, but I have to do my research because changing that on the service menu might break the TV completely. And I don't want to do that. Even when I can return it, I don't want to do that. It'll be very, very sad if I break such a wonderful TV. So I'll see what I can do about that, but that's definitely a huge deal breaker to me. So if you know how to fix that problem, how to disable display string compression, I know you can disable that on the service menu, but is disabling that going to be enough for NVIDIA image scaling and DLSR to work? How can you delete that resolution? With the CRU app, it's not working. I did it on my LG C1, I've done it on other TVs, it's not working there due to that one connect box or whatever it is. So yeah, this is not perfect. A lot of issues with the software, the settings. I mean, I don't like this remote at all. You get those raised blacks and they are definitely there. I'm going to make a separate video where I'm going to try to show you those raised blacks even with a perfectly black dark room, just because the TV is so bright, nearby pixels are lighting up. I'll see if I can show you that. But it's not a big deal. The thing is, the upsides are definitely outweighing the downsides, in my opinion. It's totally worth it. So let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions.